If at first you don't succeed, try, and try again. Because Team Latvia has just defeated Team Canada at the World Juniors. It is a stunning 8-round shootout, 1 goal scored, and an ultimate Canadian heartbreak on home ice. Oh my gosh. Oh my mother freaking flippin' gosh. I had the game on in the background. I wasn't paying too close attention to it. Bouncing back and forth between Colorado, Utah, Detroit, Toronto. Lots of hockey going on here today, folks. And of course, the World Juniors all in the background. But this game was one where so many, myself included, were like, yeah, okay, Canada, they're gonna win like 5-1. Maybe Latvia gets a goal. Canada's gonna pat the stads in this game against Latvia. But man, oh man, are we being proven every single gosh darn tournament, it seems, at the World Championships and the numerous World Juniors over the years, that Latvia, they might not have a Berkly Catton, or a Gavin McKenna, or a Braden Yeager, or they might not have the absolute top-tier, pristine, cream-of-the-crop-like guys. But Latvia always works hard. And they always hang in there. And even in games like this one, where they get outshot 56-26, they don't get possession for the first 4 minutes of the overtime, and then they don't score, they don't win, they fumble 3 chances to win the game in the shootout, even though Latvia had all the stakes pitted against them. They walk away with the victory. Oh my gosh, it's a 3-2 shootout win for Team Latvia. A bunch of late goals came in the third period to tie things up 2-2, and then in the OT it was all Canada. But what in the world was that? I think at this point, what most people are thinking about, because you know, we can talk about the game, talk about the chances, talk about the goals, talk about all that stuff. What I think most people are talking about is Team Canada's roster. Because quite frankly, that shootout kind of sucked. It was 8 rounds long. It was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Every single shot was saved until Eriks Mateiko went out there and beat Jack Ivankovic by walking down the left side, coming into Main Street, shooting it short side up high, and giving Latvia the dub. Ultimately, these other Canadian shooters, all 8 of them, they didn't look all too great. Some of these shots were a little bit too tight. Some of these opportunities were too close to the goalie. They tried to create space. They tried to kind of trick the Latvian goalie, Linards Feldbergs, and kind of catch him off guard. But no, Feldberg was there. He was doing his thing, just kind of standing tall. He looked like a brick wall. And like they were talking about on the broadcast, both of the goaltenders were making this shootout look easy. For the Canadian goaltender, like, okay, yeah, like the Latvian guys coming in, they're kind of shooting it wide, they're missing the net. Maybe not the most talented cast of guys out of this Latvian squad, but to see Canada also not able to go out there and put one up on the board, it is kind of ridiculous. And you have to give credit, of course, to Linards Feldberg, who made himself 54 saves on the night, plus all the shootout saves. But this is where you start thinking about Canada. You didn't have Zane Parekh. You didn't have Yakemchuk. You didn't have Andrew Crystal. You didn't have Beckett Sennecke. You didn't have some of the top skilled guys that were available for Canada in this lineup. And does that take away from what Latvia did? Absolutely not. This is a beautiful game for Team Latvia. They finally won themselves a World Junior game. What was it, like 2 years ago? Against, what was it, Czechia? And then last year they beat Germany, I think? Now they beat Canada. What the hell? Take a huge bow and take a long hot shower, Linards Feldberg, because you earned it. Not to mention the other goal scorers here for the Latvian squad. You had yourselves the power play goal by Eriks Mateiko and then the power play goal by Peteris Bulans, who tied the game 2-2. The overtime was ridiculous as well. It was all Canada. Canada, Canada, Canada. And this was one of these plays where it was like, okay, Team Canada is just getting ice tilted so hard here. They're possessing it, they're shooting it, they're not scoring it. And I think the overtime started out with 5 straight Canada shots. Like, that does not happen usually in the 3v3 overtime format. The fact that they were holding so much of this possession and the Latvians could not clear it. They were trying to grab possession, but every time they did, I mean, Canada comes in on the back check, Braden Yeager with the steal. Feldbergs just keeps on making saves, though. And ultimately what was a 1-0 lead that Canada held on up until 6 minutes left in the third. It quickly gets tied up by Latvia. Canada then scores on a beautiful one-time blast to make it 2-1. But then Peteris Bulans, as we had said, finishing off a beautiful passing play by Latvia on their power play to give them the tie and eventually give them the chance to win. Now, Latvia did have themselves a power play in overtime, too. This was one of the most irresponsible penalties that we could have seen. Team Canada takes a too many men on the ice call in overtime, and it's because, I forgot who it was, but they had their guys changing, and the guy who was coming off was so far away from the play, and his replacement had already made himself fully known onto the ice, skating around and stuff. And so for a good few seconds, Team Canada had 4 skaters actively moving on the ice, and they were called for too many men. This is where Latvia started to get some mojo. They started to get some opportunities in the offensive zone. It gets killed off ultimately, and the game goes to a shootout. But to see Latvia actually start to control a little bit more pace and start to get some opportunities in that overtime, you could start to feel that, okay, yeah, these guys are cooking. These guys are still here. They're still engaged. They're still active. And if this game goes to a shootout, which it did, we might have ourselves a chance at an upset here. And I honestly was kind of pulling for it. Not because I'm anti-Canadian, you know, I was raised here, I like being here, I like being a Canadian citizen, but wow, a comeback story for the ages. Latvia over Canada at the World Juniors in Canada. Talk your smack, Feldberg. You absolutely get it here. Stone cold in that shootout, stopping all 8 Canada shooters. And I mean, just the way he was kind of mouthing to his teammates after he would make the saves, like, hey guys, you gotta go out there, get me one, get me one. The testosterone there was unstoppable. And even though Feldberg is not really doing the best in the QMJHL this season, I think he's at like a sub 900 save percentage, all you need is a really good tournament. All you need is a really good few games to put yourselves on the map. And Feldberg is undrafted as well at the NHL level. I wonder if anybody, any NHL scout watching today's showcase, takes note of what Feldbergs has done against Team Canada and puts him somewhere on their draft rankings for 2025. He's eligible to being drafted still, like it's possible, but I do wonder where his hockey playing future goes if he doesn't end up staying in North America. So anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Team Canada's defeat at the hands of Team Latvia. It's a 3-2 shootout win. 8-round shootout, 1 goal scored. Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.